Hello, Leo, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of March 22nd through the 28th. Excuse me. And during that time, we have a waxing crescent moon that we bring that energy in from last week. And that's a time of heightened senses. We're buckling down and getting started on those projects that we've started during the new moon. And so that's a good time for most of the week. And then here comes on the 26th, we've got the first quarter moon. And that you might feel a little bit impulsive, impatient, a little bit, your mind's a little bit active. I see it as like a little mini full moon energy, but only for maybe a day or even just a couple of hours during the day. So just kind of see that coming and know how you're going to manage that. Either meditate through it or just not work as much that day or, focus on other things, have a little fun. But we then move into the waxing gibbous energy, and that's back to work and a good time for us to demonstrate that we can be flexible and make little changes and adjustments in those things that we're working on. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Leo. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is to step out of your comfort zone. All right, let's see what the Leo Collective has going on this week. As I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder this week is that you keep a spiritual journal. So many times we don't recognize the patterns or things that are emerging in our own spiritual life. And this could be things that you're learning. You might have a thing that you're seeing and repeating over and over and it's kind of knocking you on the head and you're just not getting it because you're not maybe a number. So but if you're journaling that sort of thing, you can kind of flip back through and be like, oh wow, this number has been coming at me for a year and I haven't understood the message. Let me take some time to understand that. So keeping a spiritual journal is just a really good way to just jot down the things that you're learning, maybe an important dream that you're having, something that feels significant, repeating number patterns, all those little synchronicities, because those things start to add up and it's just good to have and look back on and make sense of, really. So, all right, I will stop babbling, Leo. I swear, let's get into this reading, March 22nd through the 28th. That's too many cards, so we're going to put those back in. Step out of your comfort zone. All right, Leo. Oh, these cards really trying to fly over. And we'll put those right on top. I feel like it was the same batch, which wouldn't surprise me in tarot. Okay, your present energy right now is the Seven of Pentacles. So looks like you've been applying, been working on something and you're kind of just waiting on those seeds to come to fruition, waiting on things to happen, and this can be in the material realms, could be in the money realms, could be a project that you've spent some time working on and you're waiting for maybe either the final day or something to happen so that you can get compensated. Or that also this can just be in life, things that you've planted here and there, you're kind of just waiting for things to come to fruition. So that is how I would see that card. Your current situation right now is that the Ace of Swords, and this is about some sort of aha moment that you're having. And it could be while you're distracted by that, while you're kind of not real busy working, while you're kind of in wait mode, is that now you've got time to daydream. And that's where those ideas come from, right? When you're just able to stare out the window or enjoy nature and just kind of get into your own mind for a little bit, all of a sudden these ideas come to mind. So some sort of mental breakthrough or aha idea is coming to you here with this Ace of Swords. And that can be a good thing, having new ideas, right? At the root of your situation is the Emperor, which is our card of leadership and building. So it could be an idea about something that you want to build in your life, something that you want to build on, but some sort of breakthrough here. The Emperor here is a very stable card, and it's someone who really takes charge and authority, knows how to get things done, and just really takes responsibility for things that they're doing. And has a real good, clear vision. I don't think, the Emperor isn't afraid to make a move forward and do anything that he wants to do. So that's the kind of the root of the energy of which you're doing this. Almost like, you kind of in the in-between phase of your life for some reason right now, and this idea comes and you're like, yes, I can do this. In your recent past is the Six of Pentacles. So I always ask everybody if I'm doing an in-person reading, what's happening in this card? Because some people will say, well, it's obviously this guy's giving to these people, or they will say these people are receiving something from this man. And whichever answer I hear kind of tells me where you are in your mindset. So I'll ask the same of you right now. What was the first thing you thought of? And so coming into this, are you bringing in a giving energy, or are you bringing in a taking energy? It could be either, but depending on what it is, maybe you're being asked to maybe change that up a little bit. And that's giving you this idea again to build something new based on that giving and receiving. Okay, what is on your mind this week is the high priestess. So maybe, like I said, when you keep a spiritual journal, the high priestess is about things that come to us in an intuitive way, things that let me turn that down a little bit. There you go. Um, the high priestess might be that a dream does come to you, and all of a sudden you're in this dream realm and this thing is happening and you're like, well, this is crazy. I've kind of thought about this. I had this idea about building this business, building this way of being, building myself up in this certain particular way, whatever that might be for you, however this templates over your life. Maybe it's a creative project that you're involved with and you think I can build this thing until it's, successful. I can build on my relationship until it's flourishing and where I want it to be. I can build on my friendships, whatever it might be that you're thinking, this idea that has come to you might have come to you in an intuitive way, whether it be through a dream or, through some sign or something, just something that the universe is telling you. And that's kind of where those thoughts, again, when you have those moments to daydream, sometimes those thoughts can just drop right in on you. What is just ahead of you this week, Leo, is the Hierophant. And, the Hierophant is about your spiritual life, and it is about seeking out information about, seeking guidance in that way. It might be why you're at a tarot reading right now. You might have had this idea and you're like, wow, that's pretty big. And, is that something I can take on? And maybe you're just like, I'm going to check out a tarot reading or two and see what those people are saying. It could be that find a more traditional route. Maybe you attend a service, there just however you go about it, it's like you're seeking someone who's maybe a little bit more knowledgeable in the spiritual realm to give you some advice and guidance. And in this case, I feel like when things come in intuitively and you get a big idea and you've got this emperor card, it's a yes, it's go and do it. Like, at least, you have to keep trying things, stepping out of your comfort zone, like your overall reading. It's just everything here points to yes, do this thing that you're having this idea about. Whatever it is that you think you're trying to build, just go ahead and start it. Go ahead and get it going. There's no time like the present. What is in your advice position? Look, new journey. Wonderful. I love this. So, is it time to set off on this new journey? Build this thing, you're seeking, you've got this idea. And again, I no more cards than what I'm seeing here is about stepping out and doing this thing that you're thinking about. So just do it. I mean, Leos, you guys tend to be very confident about things anyway. I don't think confidence would be the thing, but even this might be something that you feel like is bigger than you. But step out of your comfort zone and go get it done. Go get it started at least, right? What is beyond your control this week is the Judgment card. So lots of major arcana coming through here. We've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this, to me, anytime I have 4 or 5 major arcana in one reading, it makes me think that this is like a pretty big life decision for you. This isn't your standard week, that you're thinking about things right now and making moves that will affect the rest of your life. And it could be just, again, a step that you're taking, some new journey that you're wanting to step off on, and it's based on this new idea. But what is beyond your control this week is some sort of judgment. And this could be your judgment. Judgment is about when you gain truth, you gain a bigger awareness, right? So, this Judgment card is about having a new awareness about something. It could be that you learn something about yourself. Maybe you step off onto this new journey and you have to set up a meeting with people and you're a little nervous about it, and the meeting goes amazingly well. And that's a judgment. You're like, wow, I can't believe I just was able to do that, be completely confident and know what I was talking about, and all of those things, right? And so that kind of that judgment will boost your confidence for the next thing that you have to do. So that's beyond your control this week is either, and maybe also for someone else to make a judgment about you. That might be in there as well. That card can kind of either go one way or the other. And maybe that's the person that you have this meeting with in this example. And that person is judging your character and thinking, I can't believe this person is so confident. They know what they're talking about, and they judge you in a positive way. And so that's just beyond your control this week. What is your secret desire and what are you trying to avoid is, of course, disappointment, and especially this intellectual disappointment. I say that this card, uh, uh, kind of depending on where it is in a reading, this card is about a broken heart. And of course, you're trying to avoid that. And of course, you're trying, but I also see it because it's air energy and we have those swords that it's like a mental disappointment also. Like if a thing doesn't work out or you try an idea, and of course we're all trying to avoid failure and trying to avoid things that don't really work out for us, but you can't keep that. You can't keep fear of success from holding you back of not trying things, right? So of course, I hope that's what you're trying to avoid. I doubt if that's your secret desire, but you need to ask yourself, what is it that you're missing out on because you're focusing in on that disappointment so much? Is it stopping you from taking a chance? Because we're all going to fail. We're all going to break out and do things, and we're going to fail. But if you don't try things and do things and do new things, that's not living. So you got to get out there and live and try things that you may fail at. And sometimes that's great. A failure means you're going to learn something and you have maybe some judgment and new awareness, right? And you pick yourself back up and you go try again. What is in your outcome position, Leo? Is the Queen of Swords. So this is you really speaking up your mind. I mean, you've got this new awareness, and the Queen of Swords does not stutter. She also doesn't do things in a mean way. She's it's like the feminine energy of logic and intellect, right? So it's not so harsh that other people are like, "Wow, okay, we hear you." It's very gentle, and also because it's a royalty card, it's that you're speaking very clearly about the things that you know and believe, but you have the ability to look around the room and see what other people are also being very logical and clear about. And that's a good thing. That helps in all things in life. Let's see what is hidden from you here at the bottom of the deck. Is some sort of celebration here with the Four of Wands. So it's not time to celebrate quite yet. We're trying to, of course, avoid some sort of heartache or some sort of disappointment with that card. But everything else is really pointing to a yes on this new idea, this new journey of you stepping out of your comfort zone and giving whatever this thing is a try. So I think that's pretty exciting for you, Leo. Let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final word here for Leo as they take off on whatever this journey of building, I would say, building something. Final message for you is live your soul, not your role. So, what is it that you really want? What is it that, hopefully the universe is encouraging you to do that, is coming forward and saying, hey, here's this thing that you've wanted to do, something you love to do. You've wanted to build this thing. You've wanted to build this part of your life up. Let's go ahead and get it done. Live your soul. All right, what do you need to do in the way of self-care? Self-care for Leo this week. Self-care for Leo, March 22nd. There we go. Reassess is the card that comes up for you. You have the right to change your mind. I love that. Yeah, don't worry so much about this failure. And you do have the right to change your mind. You also have the right to try things, fail, pick yourself back up, and try again. That's okay. We all have to do that in life. So, Leo, definitely step out of your comfort zone. What is this thing that has come to you in an intuitive manner or maybe in a dream? Like I said, that it's kind of a new idea of you building something. You're seeking out, you're asking the spiritual questions like, is this the direction my life needs to go into? Is this, who I am as a spiritual person? Is that what building this thing, does it contribute or take away from that? But it is a new journey, and you're definitely going to deal with some judgment and learn some things through this. It's just it's beyond your control to do that. And I think that's a good thing. So we end up here with that very logical Queen of Swords, just speaking things. It just makes so much sense to you. Make sure that you can explain it to others, which I don't think that's going to be a problem. So, Leo, thank you so much for being here today. And I hope there's something in this reading that you can take away and use in a positive way in your life this week. Of course, if you're comfortable commenting, drop me a comment. Let me know. Is there something that you had the idea to build is something you took a big step on this week. I'd be very curious to know that. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting that like and subscribe button really pushes me out there on YouTube. And I appreciate that so much since I'm trying to build this thing here for myself here. So thank you so much, Leo, once again for being here. And I will see you next week. Bye bye.